I'm going to call our February 10th regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors to order. And to start out, I just wanted to say happy birthday to two of our supervisors this week, Supervisor Peiske and Supervisor Owen. Both have birthdays this week, so happy birthday. With that, do we have any moments of silence? We have one here.
So I have a bit of an awkward one. It's not awkward, just I guess I'm being awkward about it. I only knew him as Vinny. Many folks who lived in the Clear Lake area and maybe also Clear Lake Oaks area knew who Vinny was. Vinny had a young son and unfortunately passed away. I believe he was in District 4 at the time. I know that I guess the awkwardness for me is I've seen Vinny struggle, and sometimes there's moments where we feel we fail to maybe reach out at the right time to maybe offer some help. And so I want to hit hard. I went to school with him over at Yuba College. I know a lot of folks were expressing that that's where they knew him from. He was a musician. He was a great musician. I know he played in some of the events that I put together for the city of Clear Lake. Vinny made an impact on the community, made an impact on a lot of people, and unfortunately succumbed to his struggles.
Thank you. Supervisor Peiske?
So this last week we learned that Brad Belden passed away. He was a longtime science teacher at Middletown High School. He was a coach, he was a referee. He was so many things to all of us. Myself and Sheriff Bingham had the pleasure of being in his classrooms with his tie-dye lab coat. But one of our alumni friends wrote this, and so I'm going to read it because I think it's just so perfect for Brad. To our Middletown High School family, today our hearts are heavy. We lost an amazing teacher, an incredible friend, and a truly beautiful soul, Brad Belden. Brad Belden wasn't just someone who taught lessons from a classroom. He taught us about life, about kindness, about curiosity, and about being authentically who we are. He had a way of connecting with people, of finding those teachable moments, and making everyone feel seen. His smile, his energy, and his thoughtful spirit left a lasting mark on so many of us. He was kind, he was fun, he was full of light. Brad cared deeply about life and about the people around him. He helped shape who we are today, and his impact will live on through every student whose path he touched. To his family and loved ones, we send our deepest condolences and all of our love. Brad, you will always be a part of the Middletown family. You will be missed more than words can express. Fly high and smile upon us, and thank you for everything. And so Brad was my across-the-street neighbor, both before the fire and after the fire, and he and his wife, Suzanne, were one of the first to rebuild their homes in our neighborhood. And it really took strength to go through that process. And then they moved up to Oregon to go on some new adventures, and then came back down to Sacramento. So yesterday his family stopped by the house, and I got to see them and visit with them. But just really a wonderful family, a loving husband, father, and teacher, and part of our community.
Thank you. Any others? Thank you. Supervisor Crandall, would you lead us in the pledge?
Yes. Ready, again.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any extra items?
Chair, we have no extra items.
Thank you. We'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda. I am aware that 5.14 needs to be pulled. Do any supervisors have any other items to pull? Not hearing any members of the public wish to pull any items off the consent agenda today? Nothing in the room, no hands online. Be ready for, did you have something?
Oh, no, I had the wrong agenda. I picked them up there.
Okay,
I have it on.
okay. So I think we're ready for action.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 5.14.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That motion carries 5-0. Next, we're going to move on to our timed items. And we're going to start with public input, our 902 item. And do we have anyone in the room who wishes to make public comment today? So yes, you'll be able to please come forward to the microphone right here. You'll need to state your name for the record, and then you'll have 3 minutes for comment.
Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
My name is Laura Lashley, and I live at Sterling Shore Estates Mobile Home Park. I am proud of our votes to help elect this Board of Supervisors because of the hard work you do, and especially because of the challenges you have taken on in your efforts to create a rent stabilization ordinance to protect low-income families, disabled, and seniors like me living in mobile home parks. And I know that you all don't want to make hasty decisions. You rightfully want to get all the information you can to make sure your ordinance is a good one. But in this case, during the time you need to get all the information, you leave us park residents in the vulnerable position of being exploited in the interim. This is evident by the outrageous monthly pass-through fees my park owner is trying to force us to pay for the next 10 years on top of the already too high rent increases. We need your protection while you take the time you need to develop a strong ordinance. By subjecting us to this high monthly pass-through fee, after you appointed an ad hoc committee, my park owner is proving how ruthless they can be. And these are for expenses they have already paid out of the rent they collected from us. Any park owner can do this at any time, now that they feel threatened by having their greed controlled through an ordinance. Do what other communities like Fortuna, Camarillo, and Sonoma counties have had to do and enact a temporary moratorium while you take the time you need to create a good, strong rent stabilization ordinance. Please put this issue on the next meeting agenda for a vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead and come forward, please. And again, state your name for the record. You'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Maya Lynn, and I live in Sterling Shores Mobile Home Park, which is owned by a nonprofit called Caritas Corporation, whose mission is to unite people with a purpose to preserve affordable communities that uplift and empower our residents. We build communities, they say. Yet, on New Year's Eve, we received a hand-delivered letter from Caritas stating that they were charging us with pass-through fees of approximately $450,000 for pass-through capital expenses. They didn't even wish us a Happy New Year in that letter. And the CEO that signed this letter makes $300,000 a year. The letter states that my monthly fees will be increased by approximately 7% starting March 1st, the imminency of this gathering. That's on top of our rent increase already of 6% in 2023, 4.5% in 2024, and 5% in 2025, and there will be another increase for 2026, as that has been the history. As we know, there is no cap on what they can do. People living in parks in Lake County are 100% vulnerable to these greedy corporations and mom and pop mobile home park owners. They know we can't hook our little mobile home up and drag it down the road. We can only pay and pay and pay whatever they want. And now, as Laura stated, that they are aware of the ad hoc committee, they have began their pass-through fees. We feel like we're more under attack. And we have only you, the people we've represented, or have chosen to represent us, to defend us, to help us. You're the only ones with the power that can stop the pass-through fees right now. We ask you to do the right thing. Every one of you have mobile homes in your districts. You all have people who can't be here because they just had hip replacement surgeries. They're 90-year-olds and or some are even working. I have 75-year-old neighbors that get up and drive to work because they can't afford the place where we live right now anyway because of all their increases. Please pass a moratorium before March 1st on rent increases and pass-through fees. Then take the time, but stop the moratorium, begin a moratorium, stop the pass-through fees. Help us. We're counting on you. You're the only ones that can help us here. Oh, and if you refer to the last paragraph in this letter that they gave us, it says that Caritas will always continue to operate within its regulatory agreement and in accordance with the law and the city of Lakeport. They know until you pass something, they can do whatever they want, and they're showing it. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in the room? And again, state your name for the record, please.
Hi, good morning. I'm Steve Zerker, and I live at Sterling Shores Estates. Most everything's been covered that Maya shared. I just wanted to put, this is my own words, so. Same things. We live in a mobile home park and we're captive. Basically, we purchase these manufactured homes. It just seems to me when you rent an apartment and there's a wire that breaks in the wall, the landlord pays for the repairs. Yet here we are, we're stuck because we bought these mobile homes and they're passing through these repairs on their property. I paid for some rotted wood on their property for about $20,000. Like, it's just really going to continue going on. The manufactured homeowners in this senior park have a difficult time with their fixed incomes already. Their pass-through costs make it much more difficult for them to plan for their housing costs. And so this moratorium would help us this time. It's set to go into action really soon. So it's going to hurt a lot of people unless we can take action. I'd appreciate it if you consider. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in the room? And if you could state your name for the record, please.
I'm Richard Schmidt. I live in Sterling Shores Estates up on Robin Hill in Lakeport. I'm gonna do you all a big favor, make this real short. I believe a moratorium is in order. I go along with pretty much what everybody else said. And you guys have gone over a lot of this already. We need your help with this. Thank you for considering our plea for a temporary moratorium. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Cynthia Sims. I'm a resident of Sterling Shores Mobile Home Park in North Lakeport. Keep thinking of changing the name from Sterling to something like aluminum. We're here to give you information on why it's important for the board to enact a fee increase moratorium as soon as possible. We were stunned when we received a letter demanding a $60 increase in fees in our rent after having received a rent increase in November. And we'll have to pay for 10 years. And shocked to find we had no way to protect ourselves from even more if the owners decide they need more. My husband and I live on Social Security, period. We don't have stocks, bonds, property, or family to help. We have a mortgage. We both have medical bills for health issues. We have eyeglasses, hearing aids, everything costs. Oxygen. We're lucky enough to have good insurance to help with these costs and the assorted medications that come with being not very healthy 80-year-olds. But that insurance comes at a cost. We, along with Sterling Shores, are nonprofit. We have nothing left before our payday on the 3rd, and certainly not for another rent increase after the one we received 3 months ago, and every year for the last 3 years. I realize Sterling Shores isn't the only park Caritas owns, but we don't even see much being done to maintain our park. We would have trouble selling our place with the way it looks and the history of yearly rent increases. And all of that affects our resale too. So thank you for hearing us.
Thank you. Anyone further?
I'm Jill Combs, and I'm a Sterling Shore resident as well. And building on what they've all said, my plea is that we were all contributors in this community. We worked in the offices, we worked in the schools, we worked for nonprofits, and we're worthy of your support, and we're pleading for your support. As it is now, I'm Social Security, and my fear is homelessness. Things are going up, and if I'm homeless, many are homeless. And corporate greed seems to be skyrocketing, prices are skyrocketing, and we're at the breaking point. And I'm trying to hold on, but it's getting more and more difficult. We have wonderful residents, and they're in the same position. They couldn't be here today because of mobility and health issues. But this started when we gathered together as a group, and we wanted a better place, better responses from Caritas. And it seems to be punitive what they're doing to us right now. And we know it's not going to stop. It's an aging park, and the infrastructure is aging. And to make us pay rent and then be responsible for their infrastructure just seems to be wrong. So we really need you to approve a moratorium for us and to please, please protect us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. We are asking for
You
your...
could state your name, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Robert Sims, and I'm a resident of Sterling Shores on Robin Hill Drive, also known as Robin Hillbillies. But first of the year, we got a letter from the owners of the park telling us that we owed them $450,000. You know, I've been a renter long periods of my life, and I've never had an owner decide that we were going to pay for infrastructure problems. And it's an old park. There are quite a few, there still are. The maintenance in the park has slipped in the last few years. It doesn't look like it used to be. We used to have a full-time maintenance and landscape man. Now we have 2 days a month of landscaping, and they don't seem to accomplish a lot, not nearly as what it needs to be done. So we're kind of in a bind. Like my wife said, we're on a fixed income, we're on Social Security, and nothing else. And we love living there, but can we keep staying there if our rent keeps going up? The You know, we can handle a little bit. We have a little bit in the bank, but not much. So, and, you know, and I sold my tent. So where do we go from here? There's been houses on the market for long times in the park that haven't been able to, people haven't bought them. I'm sure there's other reasons besides the rent increases. We had a 5% rent increase already in October, and now this pass-through. And we were asking if you guys would consider a moratorium on rent increases for the county. Everybody that lives in a mobile home park is subject to that. I mean, it's becoming more popular to charge the residents for maintenance. So thanks for listening, and I hope you guys can help us out. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone further in the room? Not seeing any, we'll move to online. Johanna? Jody? Jody, if you could state your name for the record, we'll unmute you. You'll have 3 minutes.
Yes, my name is Jody Johnson. I am a mobile home park resident in Petaluma. I'm also the Vice President GSMOL of Zone A1, which includes your area. I have firsthand experience as we are called ground zero in the predatory nature of park owners and pass-throughs and gouging and increased prolific elder abuse. There is no doubt in my mind that it's necessary for you to take a pause, do a moratorium in regards to the pass-throughs that are attempted here. We have found time and time again that a lot of the pass-throughs are not necessarily beneficial to the residents, they're beneficial to the park owner. And in that context, you should be looking at that before you allow any kind of pass-through to be taken. That can be taken up in your rent stabilization ordinance, which really is also necessary. There is a new breed and a new pattern that has led to prolific mental abuse and the push out of residents, especially seniors, that own their mobile home. They only rent the land. In this particular case, the fact that they continue to use capital improvements to try to drive up their profitability, or even to use rent increases to drive up their profitability, have actually not been shown to even be truthful in over 17 arbitrations I've been a part of in the last 2 years. In any MNOI process that we have used in arbitration, it has been found that they highly profit on what they have done, and they refer to the ownership and management as cash cows. That's why large investment groups who are in your backyard right now are buying up and gobbling up the mobile home industry. So I definitely encourage you to take pause, do the moratorium, do the necessary research. We can supply you with all of that evidential, factual nature. We can put you in touch with the Board of Supervisors in Alameda, the Board of Supervisors in Sonoma County, as all of them have found it to be true. Moratorium is necessary, rent stabilization is necessary, and to make sure that your residents are not abused is necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Hillary, if you could state your name and we'll unmute you for 3 minutes.
My name is Hillary Mosier. I'm the volunteer regional manager for the Golden State Manufactured Homeowners League, a 2-year-old statewide nonprofit organization made up of mobile home park residents seeking self-preservation. In August, this board answered their constituents' calls for protection by appointing an ad hoc committee to work on developing a rent stabilization. The unintended consequence of that action was a very steep and unreasonable fee increase in Lake Village Estates. The park owner stated that it wasn't a rent increase, but a pass-through fee to be imposed monthly over a 10-year period. This is indeed a not-so-clever means of increasing the rent because it gets rolled into the monthly fee. To add insult to injury, the owner states that the fee is to remunerate him for past months of operating expenses that have already been paid through previous rental income. It's not to repair aging infrastructure or a capital expenditure to pay for a new park amenity. This increase is to line the pockets of an executive that already earns a high six-figure income. You are the only ones that can legally prohibit this predatory greed and preserve affordability in this park. You can do this by enacting a temporary fee increase moratorium in mobile home parks until you can enact an effective rent stabilization ordinance permanent. The communities of Sonoma County, Camarillo, and Fortuna, and others have done this to good effect, and it's your responsibility to protect your constituency by doing so as well. For most in this senior park, 10 years represents the rest of their lives. And believe me, the park owner knows this. Is this legal? Right now it is. Should it be legal? No, it should not. This fee absolutely epitomizes the greedy park owner. They are demonstrating that they can squeeze money out of these elderly, low-income residents right in your faces as you attempt to protect them. These park owners are not your constituents. While they are entitled to make a fair return on their investment, they are not entitled to victimize the poor and elderly who invested their life's earnings into their homes. They are pushing Lake County residents into poverty that translates to more homelessness and a larger social services burden. And you can put a halt to it. This park owner, Caritas, owns 30 parks in California, and 23% of them are in communities that already had rent stabilization ordinances. Now, they're bullying the elderly while they think they still can. Please be our heroes. Put this issue of a moratorium on the agenda for February 24th to stop this brazen and predatory action before it's too late. I've worked all across the state for over a decade and have never seen any park owner take advantage of residents like this. I have filed a complaint with the Attorney General's Office of Charitable Organizations in a request to remove Caritas' nonprofit status. Thank you all for your time and your good judgment.
Thank you. Think further? iPhone 12. We'll unmute you. State your name for the record, please.
Sky Laywa, Pillsbury Family Farms. I speak today because there is a widening stance between what is presented to you and what is actually happening on the ground, and that distance matters. It decides whether this county grows stronger or continues to hollow itself out. You are shown numbers, charts, and summaries. Staff tells you a story with confidence, and too often that story is accepted at face value. When numbers are slowed down and examined closely, they don't always tell the truth that you're being told. Totals don't align, assumptions go unchallenged, and the context disappears. Somehow, the conclusions move forward as if nothing is wrong, and that should concern every one of you. Leadership is not about nodding along to a presentation. It is about listening for what is not being said. It is about noticing when math works only if you don't ask the next question. It's about recognizing that small details are not small when people's livelihoods are tied to your decisions. I've watched this board be handed information that looks clean from a distance but falls apart up close. Instead of slowing down, instead of pressing staff for clarity, it seems the machine keeps moving. It is not governance, it is surrendering your responsibility. Ask yourself something simple today. Do you want growth that is real, rooted, and lasting, or do you want the illusion of progress while families leave and businesses shut their door and people stop believing that this county actually listens to them? Because the people are leaving, not quietly and not accidentally. They are leaving because they no longer believe what they are being told matches what they are living. They are leaving because the rules change depending on who you are. They are leaving because the decisions are being made from spreadsheets don't reflect reality. You were elected to be accountable, and the staff works for the county, but you seem to forget that it is you who answers to the people. When numbers don't add up, it is your job to stop the conversation right there. When something feels rushed, it is your job to slow it down. When policy hurts the very communities that it claims to help, it is your job to say no. This county does not need better presentations, it needs courage. It needs supervisors who are willing to sit in discomfort and demand honesty. It needs leaders who understand that growth does not come from forcing compliance. It comes from earned through consistency and fairness. If you want people to invest here and to raise families here and to build businesses here, then you must prove that what is being said in this room aligns with what happens outside of it. Otherwise, you will continue to preside over a county that shrinks, but not because of choices. The question before you is not complicated. Will you take a closer look, or will you keep accepting what is easier to hear? Because that answer will decide your county's future. Muleham.
Thank you. Anything further, Johanna? No more hands. I'm going to go ahead and close public comment. Then we're going to move on to our 903 item, which is Pet of the Week.
902.
902, I'm sorry.
As long as we're past it.
Hi, I'm Officer Real with Lake County Animal Care and Control, and this is Odin. He is a shepherd mix, about a year old. He's been with us for a couple weeks now. Obviously, as you can see, he has a calm demeanor, falling asleep, taking a nap. He is up for adoption at Lake County Animal Care and Control. And to go into that, we have a free adoption event February 14th, which is a Saturday at the shelter. So if you're interested in adopting Odin or any other animal, we have cats and dogs up there. We're also having a shot clinic February 13th, which is Friday, also at the shelter. So if you guys want any more information, just call the shelter, and we can definitely help you out with that. Okay.
Thank you. Any members of the public wish to speak on this? Thank you for attending today. We go ahead and move on to our 6.3 905 item, which is presentation of proclamation designating the month of February 2026 as Black History Month and celebrating Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Supervisor Sabatier will be handling this, and anyone here for this is welcome to come up on the stage with Supervisor Sabatier, or he's going to go down there.
Anyone else who wishes to join us, please come on up. So I'll speak freely for a little bit before I read the proclamation. I'm always excited to celebrate Black History Month. I think it is one of the most important pieces of history that we need to understand and learn from. Our Black communities have gained so much over the course of the last 250 years. And it is something that we need to understand, that wasn't what we have today is not what we had before. It is also with a little sadness that I need to express that it feels more important than ever to understand these things that we've already gone through in life. It feels like history is not repeating itself, but it sure feels like a rhyme, where we're gonna have to figure out how to see one another as equals. And I know that we're just one county in the 3,500, I don't know the exact number, counties in all of the United States. But I'm always proud when we do this proclamation, because if we don't, then we shouldn't expect anyone else to. Please learn from your history. Today's proclamation designating the month of February 2026 Black History Month and celebrating Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Whereas the Lake County branch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, will celebrate a combination of Black History Month and Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday as we reflect on the proud legacy of courage and dedication from visionary leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Roy Wilkins, Rosa Parks, Coretta Scott King, and local community leaders like Bessie M. Bell, Dr. Akila Murkowski, Thomas Aceves, Diane Thompson, Vincent Taylor, and Kevin Ness. And whereas the NAACP has been at the forefront of protecting our fragile democracy, which is under assault by challenges to voting requirements, and continue addressing the Americans with Disability Act, workplace prejudice and hostility, military veteran homeless housing, voter suppression, gerrymandering, and urging the passing of the John Lewis Voters' Rights Advancement Act and the Freedom to Vote Act, which will ensure all citizens' voting and civil rights are protected under the United States Constitution. And whereas the NAACP history is one of dedication and struggle to maintain equality and justice for all citizens of the United States. And whereas we celebrate the theme for this year's event, a century of Black history commemorations, and reflect on the historical significance of Black history and the many contributions of individuals and communities over the past century, and more. And whereas the local branch, like other NAACP branches throughout the state and country, diligently works on social programs aimed at the elimination of banning books, rewriting of our vast contributions to this great nation, eliminating racial hatred, bigotry, and poverty. And whereas the Lake County branch of the NAACP is led by Rick Mayo, president and 1982 founder of the Lake County branch. Now therefore be it proclaimed, the Board of Supervisors of the County of Lake does hereby designate February 2026 Black History Month and a celebration of Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and the Lake County branch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People is commended on the vital role it has played and continues to play in improving the quality of life in our local community. Further, on this occasion, we encourage everyone to continue the dialogue about race, history, and culture to foster a deeper understanding of Black history in shaping the past, present, and more importantly, our future. Passed and adopted this 10th day of February 2026, signed and adopted by our Chair of the Board of Supervisors. You don't want me to change it, but I have to.
Members of the Board of Supervisors, elated every year because our county has evolved over time and is setting the example for the rest of the country. Lake County has moved forward with advancing DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which we all came here to this land from a different place, with the exception of my native brother here. They were already here. So, I mean, we celebrate this, and we thank you. And I'm going to introduce Lake County NAACP Secretary Greta Z, and our board member Vincent Taylor, who, by the way, carries many other titles like myself. So I'm going to turn it over to my secretary.
I want to thank you all for the work that you've done and that you promise to continue doing to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm impressed by the words of the proclamation, and I think that as our county is an example to the rest of the country at a time of deep division and the attempts to reverse all the advances that we've made over the last 250 years. And I appreciate that we're standing strong in the face of all that. With that, I'll turn it over to Vince.
First off, it's an honor being amongst you. You know, Martin Luther King, he had a dream, and I feel very honored to be living in that dream, to be amongst you, brothers and sisters. It's amazing, out of this world, and I just hope we continue to progress and making another dream come true, and making a brighter future for our kids. God bless you guys.
Back to you.
Thank you, Supervisor. Any further comments from the board? Well, thank you for presenting. I appreciate it.
I'd just like to say that I'm proud that we do this each year. And I really appreciate y'all being here, and I'm proud of you. Thank you.
Can I say one more?
Yes, please.
So just while I have the microphone, and it's relevant, how we treat one another is important when we're face to face, but just as important is the integrity of how we treat one another when we're not face to face. And I think that we have technology and created situations where we don't have to look at each other, but we can talk about each other in a very public way. And what I see out there is what is making me really afraid of who we really are and where we might be going. So please remember that the true integrity of who you are as a human being is what you do when nobody is watching. And social media is showing things that maybe we should be a little bit more getting away from those types of things. So just thought I'd say something.
With that, do we have any members of the public that wish to speak on this item? Not seeing any in the room. Anyone online, Johanna? No. Okay, I think we'll go down for.
I'll just say
Go
one
ahead.
one more
Sorry.
thing. It's important that we take these times to come together and recommit to the promise of our country. And I think that's more important today than maybe it has been in a really long time. So thank you for bringing this every year. It's really an honor to do this with you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. We're going to move on to our 6.4, 9:30 item, which is consideration of presentation giving an update on the relaunch of 211 Lake County. And with that, I'll turn it over to our administrative office to do the presentation.
Thank you so. Is it on? Thank you so much. Terry Loxton, Chief Climate Resiliency Officer and Tribal Liaison for the County of Lake. And you may be wondering why I'm here to present about 211. It is because we are relaunching it. It was already in place, and we use it a lot in the community, not just, it's not just information and referral for public services, but it encompasses everything. So the intention behind why I'm here today is because tomorrow is National 211 Day, and so we have updated and relaunched the website. We're going to send out a press release later today and do social media posts. Let's see, go all the way back to the first page. There we go. So we've used it primarily, and people are most familiar with it during the event of a disaster or during a PSPS event. But what we have done is separated. We have two different contracts. And so the contract we have is with, I'm not familiar with doing this, I'm sorry, on PDF. Interface Children and Family Services, which is based in Ventura County. They serve over 30 counties in California. And so they have a statewide and national database as well as a local database. They are very experienced. They have the highest level of certifications. I think they said they have about 90 staff that work. They work 24/7 every day. You can call, text, or contact them through the website, which again is 211lake.org. And so, as I mentioned, they have the National Resource Database. They have a dedicated resource team that curates information for Lake County, and they will update the website at least once a month, or excuse me, at least once a year. But so far, I've been working with them, and we've been making updates all along. So as I mentioned, emergency preparedness and response is what we are used to using 211 for, and that will still be in place. But that is now, or has been called 211now.com, so it's a separate website than 211 Lake. But they will put together all the information to make that available. And so this slide just talking about the different type of staffing that they have and the information exchange, and then we or they, depending on call volume, if an incident happens, they just, you know, up the staff, and there's certain criteria that are met that goes into 211 now. There's current 211 special projects. So with PG&E during a PSPS event, customers that have access or functional needs can be connected to specialized services for them. They've partnered with California versus Hate, which is a non-emergency hate incident and hate crime reporting database. And then the newest thing is they have the ability for any resident in Lake County, you can sign up through the website and you will get a text alert when a cooling or warming center is opened in the county. And again, you sign up separately to get a notification of when we have updated the food distribution list. And both of those text notifications will go to those resources for information. They can do other special projects that could happen here. One is the tax preparation appointments, which is VITA, Volunteers and Tax Assistance. That's a program that NCO, our Community Action Agency for Lake and Mendocino County, offers. They can CalFresh assistance. If someone wants to learn and apply, they can actually walk through with people how to apply for CalFresh, different benefits and homeless services using the HMIS system, which I can't remember what that acronym stands for. But those are extra
information, homeless management information system.
Thank you, sir. I knew you would know. It would be an additional charge, but that is something that we're going to be discussing. I've pulled together a group of county staff. We will meet monthly for at least the first 6 months. I also have a standing meeting with 211 Lake or ICSF staff to discuss the updates for the website. And so I have an annual report that was attached to the agenda, but I also have hard copies. Johanna, can I ask you to give those around? Thank you. And so even though we haven't done a lot of publicity, county residents proactively continue to use 211 Lake. So we wanted, because we have the contract, we wanted to make sure that the information is the most appropriate and the best available. And so these are statistics from 211 Lake in 2025. You can see the number of information and referral calls, two-way text exchanges, and then there were some calls that and or texts that didn't have a location. There were some that were from out of county, but people were visiting here, or people have a cell phone account that they purchased from out of county, but that is not included in here. Those were filtered out. The top 3 caller identified needs is housing, utility assistance, and individual family and community support. Calls by area, which makes sense. Clear Lake has the largest population base, had the most number of calls last year. The demographics, majority female calls. The age of callers is in the 30 to 54 and 62 and above. The highest number comes from people aged 30 to 54. And then they also break down ethnicity by callers, and that's only if someone chooses to give that information. And so, as I mentioned earlier, the 211 PSPS, which is Public Safety Power Shutoff Care Coordination, connects with electric-dependent community members, of which most of us in Lake County are. Some may have a few appliances that run on propane, but everyone uses electricity. Not all of those are connected to the grid, so these are grid-connected. But people with access and functional needs before, during, and after a power outage. And so they had, they had 17 of those cases opened in 2025. And again, well, the California versus Hate, which is a statewide program, is also in operation here. And then Kick It California, which is a tobacco cessation tools. Unfortunately, that project ends at the end of this month. I think that statewide project is wrapping up. But people did refer to that and get smoking cessation information from 211. So these are the categories that are listed on the right of what people can search for. There is, when you go to 211lake.org on the home page, there's a keyword section. So if you start to fill out a keyword, it will populate with a drop-down menu. And then you can put in a location, but you have to put something, whether it's one of the categories that auto-populates in that, the first search. We found that out when we were looking to see what all the resources were in one zip code. You can't just put a zip code in. Anyway, I think it's very exciting to have a way to notify the public when the food distribution and pantry list is updated, as well as separately when a cooling or warming center is open. And the notifications have a per notification fee, not number of subscribers. And Charm Lake County, which will be here with Red Cross in a couple of weeks to present on the community resilience centers that they've been working on, is going to cover that fee for the next several years because they have a project. So thank you.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Go ahead, Supervisor Sabatier.
Yeah, just a couple of questions. Thank you for this. I know that I received a similar thing at a conference. I forget which one it was, and I started asking you some questions because we had never seen, at least I don't think we had seen a report. Just a quick shout out to Greg Cox. He is in Ventura County. He's a board of supervisor. I know he came to me, I want to say 5 years back, saying, we run the Lake County thing. Are you guys doing anything? And I know there's been a lot of action since then. So I appreciate him just bringing things to our attention so that we've seen these changes happen. Couple of things. One is there a plan for outreach to really let people know about 211? And it's kind of a rhetorical question, but yes, still a question, because I think a really good way to advertise is all of those blank Caltrans signs that we see from time to time where they paid a whole lot of money, they're blank. Can we advertise 211 while they're not advertising be careful for the ice, be careful for the wind, be careful for it's fire season. More times than not, those signs are not utilized. I think it would be a really good place to advertise because they're everywhere throughout the entire county so that people could be made aware of 211. The other one is because this covers the entire county, is there a process to meet with different jurisdictions to figure out how we can get their information into the 211 system, whether that's our cities or the tribes? Has that conversation occurred, and is there a process to do so?
That's a great question. Thank you. First, to go back to the highway signs, I'm going to find out. That's a great idea because you're just driving and you look at the sign. At the next Tribal Leaders Breakfast, of which I'm on the agenda in March, I will again ask tribal leadership about participating. I had a conversation with Kyle Bill of Kanokatai Wellness, is a tribal serving nonprofit organization, and got some feedback from him. So we do want to include that. The question is whether the tribal governments want to have their information included. because a lot of their programs are not available to the public. They're only available either to their tribal members or to tribal, one of the 7 tribes in Lake County or Native Americans in general. And so that's a level of complexity. I had a conversation with 211 yesterday about that. And we're going to figure out how to get that information on there if it is wanted.
Okay. And then for the cities, is that already happening?
I don't think I've reached out specifically to the cities, but organizations that are based in the city are included in here.
Okay. And one of my leading questions as to where I was going with that is when there's an emergency only in the cities, what's the process to make sure that that information can be found from anybody calling 211? For example, like the sewer spill, I don't know if there's any information specific at 211 where folks can get information as to who do they call if they need water, who do they call if they want to get labs, things like that.
I know I've given them the press releases that the county issued. I don't know. I'll coordinate and make sure that it's a matter of I don't have the website up, but there is a location where any agency can submit their information. That's part of the meetings that I want to hold with county staff and other organizations, is to show everyone how to do that. Because you would have to have a full-time dedicated person if they were the ones doing it for the entire county. And so I've had conversations with behavioral health and with First Five, who's also doing an asset map. And interestingly enough, the Lake County Fire Chiefs Association, which has a resource guide. And so it's like, let's all 3 of us talk and compare notes so that we're not duplicating. But I'll find out those specific questions out.
Perfect. And I appreciate the report just to keep us updated. It'll be nice to see what does next year's report look like. Because right now it looks like it's 3 calls a day on average. That's really not that much. And I would suspect if there's an emergency, we would see a blip where there's suddenly a lot more activity happening. So again, appreciate it. It gives us a baseline to go from.
Right. Thank you.
Anything further from board members? Not seeing any. I'm going to go ahead and open it up to the public. Do we have anybody in the room that wishes to speak on this item? Come forward and state your name for the record, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name is Mylan. I just have a couple questions for you. Is there a Facebook page for this?
There is not right now a separate Facebook page.
Okay, because I had never heard of it before. I know I've only been here 10 years, but I haven't heard of this. And my second question is, I saw that it says it has it's just removed from the board, but homelessness and housing services. What do you offer in that category?
Well, they use a database of all of the organizations and the services that they provide. So it's really what this website is a database, a searchable online database. But the nice part about it, the website shows you the database, but you can also access that information by texting them or calling them. So you can pick up the phone and call and say, I live here and I need to get to the doctor's appointment. Are there transportation options? What are they? And they will refer you to the organizations that provide that service.
Okay, so if you were having a hard time paying your rent that month, then you would look on there and there might be some phone numbers to call for assistance?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know what it was about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else in the room who wishes to speak? Not seeing any online, Johanna? No hands. I'm going to bring it back to the board, and we'll go with Supervisor Pyska.
Yeah, and it was at CSAC at the annual meeting that we had the presentation, but this really is a way, and we've been, working towards a greater accessibility for all of the populations in the county, because we know not everyone's on social media, not everyone has the same access points, and we're hoping everyone has access to a telephone or cell phone. So this is a really wonderful sort of concierge service to make sure that we're meeting the needs of everyone in our county. So I'm really glad to see that we're expanding.
Thank you. Will some of these be available in the lobby in case anyone?
Yeah, there's some up here. Some will be available in the lobby. It will, as I mentioned today, we're going to send out a press release. We also have a social media campaign that will go out on the County of Lake website, and then any other county department that wants it, or any organization that wants the collateral materials, there's a request form on the website, and I can send that digital information to them.
Thank you. Supervisor Crandall? Okay, sorry. Supervisor Sabatier?
Yeah, I may be ahead of myself. Again, appreciate the work you've done, but I believe also Matthew Rothstein has done quite a bit. That's who I originally was working with. I think he knew at the same time that I found out from Greg Cox, and just want to say thank you for all the work that's been done from the office for this.
I'll just say, I saw some of these for the audience were placed up front, and I wasn't aware of it either. So I'm really glad I've already posted it on my supervisor page.
Great,
So.
great. Well, we'll have more things for you to share later today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe I asked online, right? There was nobody. Okay, I believe we'll bring it back to the board. I don't see anything further, so we'll go ahead and conclude that item. And it is exactly 10 a.m.
We do it right.
And we're going to go ahead and move into our closed session. And I'm going to go ahead and read those items off that we're going to take in closed session. And the first one will be 8.1, which is conference with legal counsel. Significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 D2, comma, E1, 3 potential cases. Then we'll have our 8.2, which is public employee evaluation, county administrative officer. We will also have public employee evaluation, title Water Resources Director. Then our 8.4 item, conference with labor negotiator, conference with labor negotiator A, chief negotiator, Susan Parker, county negotiators, Jay Salone, Stephen Carter, Casey Moreno, Pam Samick, Diana Rico, and B, employee organization, Deputy County Council Association. With that, we're going to adjourn into closed session. Thank you.